what's up guys, Gave Productions here. Today I want to talk about something more Singapore specific, and that is about TraceTogether. As all of my Singaporean viewers should know by now, TraceTogether has been around for over a year, and I think it will continue to be a thing for at least a few more months to half a year, or maybe even an extra year. For my non-Singaporean viewers here, TraceTogether is simply put a government effort to contact trace the local population in Singapore that includes not only Singaporeans but permanent residents and basically anyone on Singapore's soil through the usage of Bluetooth. This is so that people who were in close proximity or had contact with COVID positive or potentially COVID positive patients can be notified early and be given instructions on what to do next. The primary way for people to use TraceTogether is either through the app on their phone or a little token that everyone can collect and just carry around. TraceTogether works by, as mentioned, Bluetooth exchange with other TraceTogether devices. So this token can communicate with this phone using Bluetooth. TraceTogether is also used to check into various locations when you enter that premise. I'm aware that Singapore isn't the only country using this sort of system, and other countries like Germany, for example, has a similar contact tracing system as well, called the Corona Warn app. But this is how Singapore's contact tracing more or less works, and I'm not here to debate whether or not this is ethical or and all that kind of political stuff. Rather, I'm here to talk about it having a missing feature that I would love to have, seeing how TraceTogether is likely to be with us for another year or so. So with that, let's get into the feature that I really want. Now, while TraceTogether is super accessible to most people via either their smartphone or to collect a token, there is one thing that could really make TraceTogether much more convenient, and that is a companion app for a smartwatch. Now, I know that some or many of you here would think that the usage of smartwatches is pretty niche and not all that common. But I feel like I actually do see a lot of Singaporeans wearing smartwatches, especially Apple Watches. Now, this may just be a thing where it is because I am looking out for smartwatches, but basically I feel like a decent enough portion of Singaporeans do own and actually use a smartwatch on a daily basis. So I believe that a companion app for the TraceTogether app would be pretty great, and here's why. So I myself primarily use a TraceTogether token because I own an Exynos Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and the battery on this thing isn't that great. And if you were to use TraceTogether on this thing, it would eat up more battery life because TraceTogether is a surprisingly battery hungry app, and it's probably because of the fact that it is using Bluetooth 24/7. So that's why I chose to use the token over the app. But it is definitely somewhat of an inconvenience to have an extra thing in your pocket or to carry around with you wherever you go. It also does eventually run out of battery, which means that you have to go down and get a replacement and all that kind of stuff. I did do a review on the TraceTogether token, so do check it out if you are interested. So having TraceTogether on a smartwatch like my Galaxy Watch 4 over here would immediately remove the need to carry a token for smartwatch users. I could simply just have my smartwatch do the Bluetooth exchanges instead of my phone. I could also use my smartwatch to tap into places instead of having to take out my token, or to use my phone to tap on the pad, which one thing I do want to complain about for TraceTogether on the phone is that it only works half the time. Many times I notice people in front of me or myself, they do have trouble tapping into locations about half the time. So that is one thing I feel like they do have to improve on for the TraceTogether app on the phone. But if they manage to iron it out and also transfer it to a companion app on the smartwatch, then you can just tap the smartwatch, kind of like how we use our smartwatch to make payments, to tap into the MRT or the bus, and yeah, it should be just that simple. Now, on top of the key benefits I just mentioned, such as not needing to carry around a token anymore, reducing battery usage on smartphones, and overall just more convenience, there are actually other benefits as well. And one such obvious benefit is the reduction in e-waste. I think it is undeniable that tokens do actually contribute to both e-waste and plastic waste. There is a little circuit board inside, there is a rather large coin cell battery inside as well, and this casing is made of plastic. Now, I'm not going against the use of tokens since as of current they are a sort of necessity, but with the introduction of a companion app for the smartwatch users like me, this can actually help to reduce the number of tokens being collected and used. Another benefit, mainly for me and other people out there who don't like to bring their phones out on a run, we can actually go for a run without our phones or token with just our smartwatch and still have the TraceTogether functionality. Now, we'll acknowledge that there are problems to having a TraceTogether companion app as well, such as the fact that a good and stable working app is a lot more complicated to develop than many of us probably like to think it is. The TraceTogether app for smartphones, for example, works pretty well and is designed pretty well, but it does have that big issue where it only works half the time when you want to tap into a location. It is also pretty costly to design and put out a good working app. But at the end of the day though, this app isn't from a private company but rather GovTech themselves. And so although it is relatively expensive to produce an app, I feel like it is worth it in the long run if TraceTogether is going to be a thing that will stick with us for a while. At the very least, I think that GovTech could maybe focus on making one for watchOS first, or basically the Apple Watch, and then make one for Wear OS devices like my Galaxy Watch 4 later on. Next problem, I know that this app is likely to use up battery on your smartwatch as well. And for one-day smartwatches like the current Apple Watches or even people who still use old Apple Watches, that can be a bit unnerving. So this is definitely an issue that will plague most smartwatch users. So obviously the app should be optional to download and use for smartwatch users like me, so that people like me who do want to use TraceTogether on our smartwatch can do so, while those who rather save the battery life on their smartwatch or don't want another TraceTogether app can choose not to download it. Well, that is pretty much all I have to say for this short video. While I do feel that GovTech should put some R&D into making a companion TraceTogether app for smartwatches, I understand that it is a lot easier said than done. So if they do plan to make a companion app for the smartwatches, maybe they could start with the Apple Watch, since most smartwatch users out there are Apple Watch users. But I would like to of course see them eventually make one for both the Apple Watch and Android Wear as well. Maybe even for Tizen Wear if they are feeling adventurous. Anyways, that's been it. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, share this video if you found it useful, and please subscribe as you'll really help this channel out. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next one.